Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Mama Said It podcast. How are you, Plum?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. Sunday. Today is November the 23rd. November the 23rd. We only have a week left till it's December. December. New Year's is almost here.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes. Are you ready for Thanksgiving?
Yes, I am. I'm ready for Thanksgiving.
You love Thanksgiving because you you love Thanksgiving. Well, you used to. I know.
No,
Do
I
you
still,
still
I,
love?
I still like, I do like Thanksgiving. I really do.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. Yes. 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 I think Thanksgiving is every day for all of us, right? Giving thanks,
Yeah, absolutely.
rightfully so.
Yes.
We're gonna send special prayers to our family. We lost a cousin, and we sending prayers to Cheryl Hicks and the family, the Hicks family. We're lifting you up in prayer, letting you know that we love you and we're here for you. We're here for you. We're here for you. I want to say happy birthday for those who are celebrating a birthday. We are still we're in Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius season.
Yeah, it just started. Not yesterday.
We are in your season now, Shakira.
Yes,
Woo
yes.
woo, Shakira. Happy birthday to you. Yes. Okay. And we're gonna say happy anniversary. Anyone you want to shout out for a happy birthday?
No, not that I can think of off the top of my head now.
No one you could think of the top of your head? No, you said no?
No.
Okay. All right. And we're gonna say happy anniversary also to those who are celebrating the anniversary, sending happy anniversary to you. I don't know, are you showing live on your end on your page?
Oh, I don't. I'm not sure. I mean, it's showing live on the, like on the top, but I didn't go to. I haven't went to my page. I don't have the. I don't. I don't have the.
Don't my cheering. You don't have the app? Okay, so I know you doing whatever you're doing. Okay. So I'll check to see whether there are any making sure it's connected. Okay, come on in, everybody. Come on in. Thank you for sharing. You come on in. We have a lot to talk about. We only have an hour to be in front of you this evening. I wanted to start off, and I know that there's just been a lot going on, but I wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that they still had to reapply to SNAP. If they've had SNAP in the past, they would need to reapply to SNAP. Um, this is according to the government, excuse me, according to the government is stating that they would still have to reapply. I know a few people that I spoke to, they were waiting on their food stamps, and I was letting them know, hey, did you reapply? And they was like, why do I have to reapply? I said, well, the government announced that if you had food stamps and they were discontinued because of the shutdown, you have to reapply. There's no state that have announced that there is an exception. No state has have announced that there is an exception. So that means all the states must apply, must apply. Okay. I know I had something that I wanted to share, excuse me, as it relates to the SNAP program. And I will also post this as a flyer so that everyone will also get a chance to see this as the snaps for the SNAP program. Um, If you're receiving SNAP benefits before the shutdown, the federal government has announced that all recipients are required to reapply regardless of your previous approval. This means your old case will not automatically continue. Benefits will not restart until your application is processed. Every household, every long-term SNAP user must submit a new application. You may be asked to provide updated income, household, and resident documents. Do not wait, reapply as soon as possible to avoid delays or interruption in your benefits. Please share this information with family, friends, seniors, veterans, and anyone you know who relies on SNAP during this difficult time. If you need any help applying or any questions, contact your local SNAP office or visit your state's benefits portal. Hope that's helpful.
Yes. Hey Treva, thank you so much for joining. She said, "Good evening, my beautiful family."
Hey Treva, thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for joining. How you been? How have you been, Treva? Thanks so much for joining. Please share. Sharing is caring. We appreciate you sharing. We appreciate you sharing.
Yes.
The other thing we want to change gears, and I wanted to find out, I don't know whether you heard this before, Shakira, about the doctor's notes being denied. What does this mean for our children? Did you hear about this?
No, I haven't heard it. It ain't happening at the school that my kids are at. So at least not so far. So
well, we hope it don't.
we hope
it
it
don't spread.
Yeah.
We hope it don't spread. But unfortunately, there are some schools that do not accept doctor's notes. I know it doesn't crazy. They are stating that they want, even if your child is sick, they, send them to school.
Yeah.
Send them to school anyway, and then let the nurse.
So that's overloading the nurse. It's one nurse. Typically, there's one, maybe two, depending on how big the school is, nurses at one school. So you're going to overload her. When the parent knows they sniffing, now you're going to pass it on to all the other kids on the bus. And that doesn't make any sense. That's horrible.
Not just make any sense, but how does a doctor be declined, degraded beneath a nurse?
Yeah.
I mean, that
doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's
unbelievable, but it is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is where we are.
Yeah.
With the world and the reality.
Aunt Dot is on. She said, "Good evening, ladies."
Hey, Dot, thanks so much for joining.
Yes, Dude is on. What's going on, cousin?
Hey, cuz. Thanks so much for joining.
And Treva said, "I'm grateful." That's great.
Awesome.
Happy to hear that.
Awesome. I wanted to share this about the doctors. Let me just get this set up real quick, and I can just show you this real quick. Just hold tight. Doctor.
Doctor's notes will no longer excuse your child's absence. Lawrence County Schools says they're just trying to address the district's low attendance rate.
Courtney Allen found many parents are against it.
Some believe this new policy will force families to send their sick children to school out of fear of being sent to court. Rebecca Sanchez says her 10-year-old daughter got sick a lot last school year.
Between the strep and the flu, I can say she missed about 17 days.
But if she is absent for even half of that time this coming school year, it'll now result in a referral to Lawrence County Juvenile Court for truancy.
I've never been for or against homeschool, but because of this new policy, it has, definitely changed my mind.
Under Lawrence County School System's new attendance policy, doctor's notes will no longer excuse an absence. Students will now just be marked absent or present. The policy states at 3 absences, schools will start intervention. If the student keeps missing school 8 or more days, there will be a juvenile court referral.
You could end up failing the grade. You could fail the course. You're going to be petitioned to court. You're not going to participate in graduation, get your driver's license permit.
While there will be exemptions for verified chronic illnesses and several other things, Director of Schools Michael Atkins and other district officials said in June's school board meeting that students need to learn reliability and work ethic.
And if you got the sniffles, that's fine. You're going to have them when you go to work one day. We've all gone to work sick and hurt and beat up.
The district sent this letter to local medical providers last week, asking them to, quote, emphasize the importance of regular school attendance while treating school-aged patients. If a child goes to school sick and the school nurse sends that child home, Atkins said it will be marked as a tardy.
How does that make sense? As a parent, how can we give someone else the rights to say what's wrong with their child?
We reached out to several local districts about their attendance policies. Metro, Rutherford, Wilson, Williamson, and Clarksville Montgomery County Schools all told us they accept doctor's notes to excuse absences.
Put your kid's health first, right?
Back in Lawrence County, Sanchez and several other parents upset over the policy
How did this get passed?
are bracing for the new school year less than 2 weeks away.
Ultimately, I'm going to do what's right for my kid, regardless of this policy.
Courtney Allen, WSMV4.
So again, Lawrence County Schools says the new policy is to address the chronic absenteeism the district has faced. The state tracks this absences for any reasons, including those that aren't excused. So for context, the most recent data for the 2023-2024 school year shows about 14% of all Lawrence County school students had chronic absenteeism, meaning they missed 10% or more of instructional days. So we checked out some other districts. Their percentages ranged from about 9% to 28% of students being chronically absent. So they're there on your screen for you. Metro Schools had the highest percent.
There you have it. So now you're talking about the decision of whether you're going to homeschool your child or take the risk of going to court. And then they talk about suspension of license. Like, that's in Tennessee, by the way, for those of you who don't know. That's in Tennessee.
What did they mean by, like, your driver's license?
Yes.
That's not what they're talking about. The parent's driver's license.
Yes.
I don't, okay. Okay, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
What does my driver's license have to do?
It's not making sense, but I'm saying this to say it's in Tennessee now. Will it go into other states? Will this head up toward the northern states, the East Coast? We don't know what's going on. That is the weirdest thing. And who voted them in? Who voted for those people into office? You mean you tell me you would want your child to be sick, contagious, with pink eye and everything else that's contagious, measles, everything else that's contagious, to come to school and give it to other kids and be exposed? It's unreal. Unreal.
That's horrible.
Unreal. But you know what? It's always good to know what's going on around us, because, we don't never know when it could hit home. It's in Tennessee now, but we don't know where it may expand to. Hey, dude, thanks so much for joining. Hey, Crystal, thanks for joining, Crystal. Good to see your name. Now, I want to change gears because there's just so much that we want to cover today. I wanted to show you this video, which I thought was kind of interesting. This happened in Virginia. When one incident turns into racial profiling, a closer look at this restaurant scandal. I'm going to show you this video, and then we're going to kind of talk about it, because it was what I consider to be races, but somebody else may have a different opinion. Stay tuned.
Somebody break it up.
This is sad, y'all.
My sister circles and I were out celebrating our Friendsgiving. We arrived at the restaurant. Shortly after arriving, we only had time to give drink orders. We didn't even get our drinks. And a physical altercation happened between two African-American women. We did not know them. We were not affiliated with them. They were at another table. They began to fight. The situation was diffused by management and other staff members. The management came over to our table and told us that they would not be servicing us tonight. We had to leave. I questioned, are you shutting the entire restaurant down for tonight? No, we're just not servicing you all because y'all like to fight. We became shocked, confused, and he did that in front of the entire restaurant, in front of all the other patrons. No one else was asked to leave but us.
So that was Cork and Bull Chop House restaurant in Chesapeake, Virginia. It's like you go to a restaurant, they are already sitting down. They have their menus in front of them. Another table, which doesn't have anything to do with their table, breaks out into a fight. But then the owner comes around and tell they have to leave. That was alarming. I know that I would be pissed, especially if I was real hungry.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You know what I mean? If you're real hungry and then you're seeing something like this happen and then you're asked to leave, for me, I feel as though your civil rights violation have definitely been violated.
Yeah, absolutely. Were they the only other Black people there? Did all the other Black people had to be escorted out, or not to say not? I'm just saying, like, did they make a go to every Black table and say y'all got to go? Say,
well, according to her, she said you people like to fight.
Yeah, I get that. I'm saying, was
they
everybody
in the same bunch, which is not right.
Yeah.
You know, that's a direct violation. Complete violation. You know, regardless of the fight that broke out between the two individuals, and the business can't punish the entire race because of what happened. This is racial discrimination, plain and simple, in my opinion. Under the federal laws, and I'm not an attorney, okay, but I do know, I feel as though there's some laws that's been broken here. And I've had a restaurant 14 years, and I know we had to learn the laws, the rules and regulations of what we can do, what we can't do. Some laws was grandfathered in, other laws weren't. But under the federal civil laws, state laws, local ordinance, this restaurant owner can face some serious lawsuits from the federal side, especially if they investigate and they hire an attorney. I don't know how far they're going to go with it. But for me, I think being racist, you don't get a free pass for that at all. At all. You know, and when you're in the restaurant business, do you have the right to deny a person's service? Yes. If I have a sign that says no must have a t-shirt, must have shoes, must have this, and I've set them down the rules, and you come in, you don't have a shirt on, then I can say, no, I'm not going to serve you. But in this particular situation, you have another party that's fighting that has nothing to do with the rest of the restaurant customers. Now everyone of that particular race have to leave. That's crazy. Crazy and unbelievable. But it happens. And then you say to yourself, when you go out to eat, you go out and you're being served by the public, anything can happen. Anything can happen. That's the sad part.
It is.
And you got to be prepared. What do you do? What would you do if this was you, Shakira?
I would probably be shocked, but I would want to leave because I'm not. First of all, I would never stay somewhere where I don't want to be, and they're feeding me. Never going to do that.
Right.
I would never be like, I'm staying and you go. Not going to do that. So I would leave, but I would definitely be calling a law office or somebody, and I would record it. I would have them say on camera without them saying, I don't know if it's a 2-party state, 1-party state, whatever, but I would definitely have some type of proof that they told me that you all, because she said it, but if she had the recording of them saying it, can you come back over and explain to me again why we have to leave? Because we didn't do anything. And then if we repeat it again, then but yeah, I definitely wasn't staying, because if they don't want you there, I don't want them to be licking my biscuits and none of that, kicking my food my steak across the floor. So no.
And those are the things that could happen. You know what I mean? When you take those chances and insist on being served, you could run into a situation where, those things could happen.
I just don't go back.
Huh?
If I don't like a service, I'm just not going back.
I can see people fixing my food. You know what I mean? I like
that part too.
Kitchen.
I definitely like hibachis and stuff like that. But as far as anything else, if I don't like the service, if I don't like the waitress, if I don't like anything about it, I just ain't going back. I am not going to complain or say anything before you. Now, if you bring my food out and you ask me how it is and my food is there, I definitely ain't sending it back. I'm definitely gonna be like, oh, this was, I didn't want this on here. Can you? No, I'm okay. I'm like, well, I did order it with cheese. It didn't have it, but it's okay. Whatever. I'm not you. I don't take my food back. No, thank you. I don't do that. I just ain't going back at all. I'm not doing that. Trevis said that. Wow, that's so sad. T, welcome in. He said I would have them repeat their request and definitely get me a lawyer. Absolutely. Repeat on the recording. Absolutely. That's what I.
Yeah. Hey T, thanks for joining, nephew. Yeah, I definitely would be having. See, but I'm the type of person to have my lawyers on speed dial. They're on speed dial. I always believe that you don't wait until something to happen and try to find an attorney. You have all the type of attorneys that you may need on speed dial. It's just like having insurance. You don't wait until later to get insurance after the accident. You make sure you have insurance before. But yeah, that is definitely crazy. Spinning the wheel here. I hope stuff like God has definitely been preserving me, and I thank him because I don't want to be having anything like that. No interactions like that. One of the things I know you probably heard of is that this professional degrees aren't professional anymore. And what's behind this federal shift? What do they not want protected? And let me just say this. I know people were talking about this, some of the degrees and things that are no longer going to be professional. But this was all in the big, beautiful bill. It was all in the big, beautiful bill where they stated that they were going to make some changes. And they outlined the professional. They outlined it, but a lot of people didn't read the big, beautiful bill. And you know what? I can understand that because the big, beautiful bill was long. I mean, it's over 1,000.
They did that on purpose.
We did it on purpose.
Do you think they think they're going to make it in the summary packet to say how I'm going to screw everything up? They wanted to make it so long so that you would not bother to read it. And if you did read some of it, you didn't read all of it, and they would still may have a chance to get your vote. They always would say, and this is a saying, I didn't make this up, but they said, if you want to hide anything from a black person, put it in the book. It's sad to say, but that's it's me personally. My mom hates it when I say this. I don't necessarily like reading. I like reading for learning purposes. I'm not a joyous reader. Some people be out here reading novels, and I've never been that person. but what's important, you want to make sure that you're diving in, you're getting the right information, because it was there in black and white and people didn't take it serious. So
Yeah, you take it serious.
And now we're
yeah.
here. And now we're here.
We're here. Yep. We're here, and people are really pissed off. They're mad because, they're talking about is declassifying several of the professions, such as the master's degrees and doctorate degrees in nursing, public health, social workers, physician assistants, occupational therapists. The list goes on and on and on, but it's targeting women. It is targeting women. It's targeting women. And also, these professions are professions that normally report when children are abused. How ironic. What a coincidence.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Yep, it was there in a beautiful bill. Some people did take heed and voted a certain way, but others did not. And some did not bother to vote. So this is where we are. This is where the chips are falling. So we just have to buckle up, pray as always. But this was outlined for everybody to see. They didn't hide it. They didn't hide it.
No, but but it makes you think. Here you have Linda McMahon is she's head of the Department of Education, a woman. And of course, this is a part of the big, beautiful bill prior to her being elected, but I'm sure before she was appointed, I should say, into office, she had some inkling that this was happening. And then it's the horrible part that I think about this is the financial aid and the things that people are going to be losing, like the Pell Grant, the federal student loans, and also the loan forgiveness program. They won't even be eligible for that. The nurses, especially. Why are you picking on the nurses, social workers, public health practitioners, physician assistants, the therapists? That's crazy to me. They're not even going to be able to report abuse, neglect, fraud, medical misconduct, unsafe conditions. Are they going to start picking on social services like DIFAS? Are they going to start picking on DIFAS workers?
So could you explain to me how does that correlate? I know they're declassifying the actual position, but being in the position, you won't be able to report anything anymore, or how?
They're stating that there is going to be some changes on how they're able to report.
Wow.
Now, right now, they're legally obligated as a part of their job. When they see abuse and neglect and fraud, et cetera, it's a part of their job to report these things. Now, I don't know. This probably is going to weaken the purpose, in my opinion. It's just, it doesn't make sense. It seems it's something that it's something bigger that is brewing.
Of course, it always is something bigger. It's all connected.
I mean, to me, I think it's a way in which someone is trying to get to the kids. And I'm just going to be bold enough to just say it. Because why would you take all these things away? It just not making any sense. What is the real agenda? And then who's saving money?
I think a lot of times with yes, I think with the big beautiful bill, it was aimed towards making not everybody, obviously, the pockets fatter for certain individuals, but I think some of it is morally how they actually feel, what they think the country should look like. So it's sad. It's very sad. And unfortunate that this is where the country is. But I have hope that things will turn around eventually. I always feel that sometimes you have to crumble in order to build back bigger and better. So if they have to dismantle if something, they're doing all this, but then, it's going to be another election, and he won't be our president for forever, hopefully.
He's planning to be the president 2028.
But in the event that somebody else comes into office, they will work towards getting things back to the norm. And sometimes it brings certain things into light on what needs to be readjusted, reassessed, all of the things, so I just look and say that, I know that things will eventually get better. It just it's horrible that we're even here. And I'm just praying for everybody that has that profession, that took the time to go to school and all of that money and all of that time, and to now be reduced down to nothing, to say that your degree is not professional, is very disheartening, because you took my money. You had no problem taking my money for a loan and everything like that, and I'm still paying you, but you still want me to pay you back for something that you think is not even a profession.
Yeah, now you're just disqualifying me and disgrading me, and it's aiming at mostly women. The majority of these fields are, it's just, I don't know. It's so much to take in I've had so much to take in for the last 11 months, till sometimes I have to like sit, push myself away from the desk and really take a break, because there's just so much between keeping up with the new rules and regulations guideline with Internal Revenue Service, and just keeping up with just everything around you that's affecting you and your family. It can become overwhelming. And I can see why some people don't want to watch TV, don't want to listen to the radio.
Yeah, you don't want it to you don't want it to consume you. Because I, like I said, I always get my news from my husband. He leaves the news on for me every morning, but I don't necessarily keep it on. But I try to stay in tune with certain things, certain current events. But to me, I have never sat through an hour worth of the news and say, wow, we have a wonderful world that we're living in. Wow, I'm so excited that my kids are growing up in this society. I never walk away with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's never it's never an even amount of good news with bad news. It's always just all bad. The only thing that I may see on the news is that one of the news anchors went to a new restaurant and they tried out some pizza. But other than that, it's not a lot of good. You get what I'm saying? And I know that there's good out there. I know there are good things that are going on. I know there's positive things and positive news that they can be put forward, but that's not their agenda. Their agenda is to keep the American people frantic. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So I don't indulge. My husband tells me what I need to know, and I see what I see here and there, and pick up what I can. But it definitely will be if you just go and just watch, it can be very depressing. So yeah.
It can be very depressing. Yeah, that's why you got to keep prayer and keep praying, because it could be definitely overwhelming. It could be definitely overwhelming. One of the things I wanted to share with everyone, and I thought this was quite interesting, especially for the parents here in the United States, the independence from day one, what Japanese kids learn early that American kids don't. And what age should you teach your children about banking? I want to share this video that I thought was really interesting. And it reminded me of a lot of the things that I did with you, but also at the same time, I think each parent have to figure out when their child is ready to be exposed to some of the things in which the real world, as far as banking and how to balance a checkbook and stuff like that. So let me just show you this video.
Guys, Japan built a real mini bank. Tiny chairs, tiny counters just for kids, where parents aren't even allowed inside. Kids open accounts, fill out forms, get their own ATM cards, deposit money, and even earn interest on their saving. It's all about teaching kids financial independence early without their parents holding their hand. Meanwhile, adults, we're just awkwardly waiting outside like Uber drivers because we're not allowed in. And this is just step one. Wait until you see the jobs they get after this. Make sense or nonsense?
I love that.
Yeah. So what are your
I
thoughts
like that.
on
I think that as a country, we're behind the ball with education with our children. When they did the No Child
Yeah.
Left Behind, whatever, I think that you can't just and we talked about this before. Everybody gets an award. No, you do suck. Okay, you're not good at soccer. This is not your game. I'm not just going to give you a certificate because you participated. I feel as though they make everybody inclusive and everybody won. That is not the reality of the world. They set them up for failure during school, right? No Child Left Behind. Just keep pushing them through. They're reading on a 3rd grade level, but they're in 12th grade. But like, we're just gonna graduate them anyway.
That
You know what I'm
is
saying?
crazy.
But that's what because I forgot who it was. I think it was Killer Mike. Is that the classroom is set up like a kind of like a factory. They're programming our children to be workers, not to be entrepreneurs, not to be business owners, not to do any of the things that the other countries are preparing their children. There is no you're going to go work for somebody. You're going to own that laundromat. You're going to own that nail salon. I'm going to send you to America and I want you to go work for your cousin and then you're going to open up your own salon. You're going to do this. That's not the same things that we're implementing to our children for the most part. Yes, I think financial literacy is very, very important. The earlier, the better, but you want to make sure that they're comprehending. You don't want to just, but at their age, they don't stop school. They go to school all year round. There is no summer break and winter break and fall break and No. We're not doing any of that. You're going to school 365 days. I mean, I don't know if they go all 7 days, but you get what I'm saying. It's not
They go longer than Americans.
They go all year round, from my understanding. A lot of countries go all year round.
Yeah.
There is no summer break, 3 months off. No. So I feel that, America, we are at a disadvantage when it comes to education, but we make it seem like it's so, on social media, become a star, become a social media sensation. And then when influencer, but then when they do get to that status, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to balance something. They don't know anything about that they're supposed to be paying taxes on this free items that they're getting. They don't even know half the stuff, because it wasn't set up correctly. So I think it's a great thing.
That's true. And speaking of taxes, because a lot of people, when, say for example, if a person owed a debt and they settled the debt, I know this happens a lot. When you settle a debt, you get what's called a 1099-C, a cancellation of debt. It becomes taxable income. So you may have saved $20,000, $30,000 on that debt, right? But now it's turned into income where Uncle Sam is going to want 28, 30%. And a lot of people become surprised at the end of the year when they get that 1099-C and realize, wait a minute, hold up. I settled, but they didn't tell me that I was supposed to pay taxes on this. No, they're not going to tell you. They're going to say, okay, you settle, whatever you settle for, it's going to be taxable income. So always remember, if you're going to settle a debt, ask the creditor, will they give a forgiveness? Mm-hmm. Some of them will. But you have to ask. Yeah. Not often. But if you don't ask, you won't never know.
I'm pretty sure, I mean, not to say that I know, because I don't know, but I'm pretty sure when you do settle and you're signing your paperwork, it's probably in the language that you did not read. It's probably there, but you did not read it. You just went ahead and signed and did not read that was going to be considered income.
True.
Because they're going to cover their booties.
That's true.
And it's in some cases, they're going to put something in writing and hope that they put it real small so you don't read it and don't bother to read it.
Right.
So, yes. Hi, Miss Linda. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks so much for joining. That's just like a person having insurance policy, car insurance, or having homeowners insurance. They think they have flood insurance, but then they look at their policy. They don't read it because most people get insurance. They put it in an envelope, put it underneath the bed, or put it on a shelf, and that's the end of it until they need it. And then some people are under this myth that I don't want to use my homeowner's insurance because my policy is going to go up. Well, why do you have it?
Makes no sense.
Why do you have insurance? Why in the world do you have insurance if you're not going to use it?
And they know that a lot of people feel that way because they always make it seem as though, if you do that claim, it's going to raise it up so high, and it may raise it by a couple dollars or $20. You know what I'm saying? But they'll scare. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Claim. Yeah, absolutely.
file that claim, and always read your policy. If you can't read your policy, get somebody that can read your policy. But make sure you talk to whoever your agent, your representative, and ask them, do I have flood insurance? Now, another thing people are not aware of, you can use the word flood when your basement might not have flooded. But by using the word flood, your insurance company could say, I'm sorry, you don't have flood insurance because you just
Flood.
used the word flood. So you got to be careful. That's why they always say get yourself an adjuster, a public adjuster, someone who can represent you in these cases, just like having an attorney present to be able to represent you in various situations. So yeah, I thought that was really nice regarding the kids. It reminded me of you when you were younger, because I always talk to you about entrepreneurship, and you've seen me and your dad being entrepreneurs and going to work every day and opening up the restaurant, closing the restaurant. And I remember when you were around 14, 15 or so, you was like, I think I want to start my own business. And we started talking back and forth. And one day you came and you said, I don't know what I want to do as far as opening up a place, but I know I want to open up something. And I was excited because I wanted you to experience that. Because for me, going into entrepreneurship at the age of 17, I knew that that was something that I wanted you to experience. And, you know, for you, you said, okay, I want to do the flea market type thing. And of course, you know, that costs thousands of dollars first, and like 2 months rent. Then we had to get your supplies and your just everything that you needed. And then about, I think it lasts about maybe a month. I'm gonna give you a month. Shakira's
I
like,
remember
nah,
it a
this
little
ain't
bit
for me.
differently. Can I tell my reenactment? So my reenactment was
Okay,
I was
I was
approaching, I was in 11th grade. I was going into senior year. I did not know, I was very adamant on not wasting college money. I was always that kid. I didn't just want to go just to go and say I went.
I was like, oh,
but I did want to do accounting. But I said, I don't know, you know, I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know what I want to do. And you said you either going to, she said you either going to open up a business or you're going to college. It's one of the two. You got to pick one. So I said, okay, well, let's open up a business. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. Then I was like, oh, let's do some airbrush t-shirt. It was like a little flea market inside the flea market, because I was selling any and everything. I didn't know what I had no clue. And you were teaching me, you were showing me the ropes, and I ain't like it. I'm not a salesperson.
She didn't like the opening,
I had
the closing, because when it was time to hang with a friend, she was ready to hang out.
I said, I don't want to get no more.
She had to be there.
I had to stop the shelves.
She called me on the phone, Mom, we want to go to the movies. No, you got to run your business.
And what did I do? I went to Illinois and went to school. So that was.
She went to Illinois and ended up going to college.
That was it. So yes, I did not. At that point, I wasn't. That was not something. I'm still not a salesy. I never forget. God rest his soul. My dad came. And we were selling like this was like an 07 or like 07 time. And it was like the robots or whatever. So that was new back then, right? For little kids. And my dad was selling them like hotcakes because he had a gift for gab.
Yeah, he was a salesman.
Yes, and I was sitting there and so much and I'm like, I can't even sell this little t-shirt to have somebody's name on it. Like that was not my lane. That wasn't my niche. So I ended up going to school, but that was your stipulations. You either go into school or you go into college. I mean, either going to open a business or you go into college. Those are your options. So that's what I remember.
Yeah, but you did say we signed a year lease, and I think it lasts. So I was obligated to pay those 11 months, which was like, oh my God. So, but anyway, it was an experience, and I'm glad that she was able to figure it out whether entrepreneurship was something that she wanted to do at the time. And I think by you being so young, you wanted to hang, you wanted to be with your friends, you know, and I understood that.
I ain't want to do no opening and closing. I said, oh no. And it wasn't for me.
It wasn't what you thought.
For me.
What you've seen for so many years And then when you went through it yourself, it was totally different. But you had a good experience going out to Illinois, going to school, and having an experience out in the West Coast. No, that's Midwest,
Midwest.
excuse me, and seeing what that was like. But you end up getting a degree anyway. So I guess I could say I won. You experienced entrepreneurship in college, so it was a win-win for me. So I'm happy. Linda said, should you use an insurance agent? They say it increase your policy amount. Well, normally I use an insurance agency sometimes. Yeah, I use an insurance agency. If I can go direct, I go direct. But no, I don't know the answer to that. I don't want to say, even though I've had my insurance.
I don't go through an agent.
But they do get paid off of your premium.
I don't go through a agency. I just go direct and I just shop around. And
right.
every
I always
6
tell
months
clients,
I'm checking.
you need to shop for your insurance correct every 6 months, because I have people that have been paying like $300-400 a month for car insurance, when if they shopped around, that $300 or $400 could be like $150, $175. But you won't know unless you go out and compare.
Yeah.
You go out there and compare your pricing, okay, for insurance, because insurance is kind of standard, but the rates go up and down. The rates go up and down. They do vary. They do vary. Okay, so we're going to change gears. I don't know whether you've heard, I know I introduced you to this app recently regarding the no thank you. Were you able to upload that?
No, I wasn't
Shakira?
able to. We talked about it, but I don't remember. I don't recall you sending me the actual link. I don't know if you sent it like by text message or maybe by.
Did I send it to you by text?
I know we were talking verbally on the phone about it, but I don't know if you sent me the actual link for it, because I know we were talking about it last week.
Right. Okay. Well, there is an app that's called No Thank You. And this app I love because you can scan products, whether it's food or hair products, and you can use this in your app store. You can get it from your app store or from Google. What is it? Android is Google Play, right? And it's called No Thank You. And it will tell you whether the product is good or if it has issues that you might need to be aware of. And this is what it looks like. This is what the screen looks like. Okay. It's about 4.9%. And you shop consciously, make a difference. You scan the barcode on any product and it tells you if it's green, it says it's good. If it's red, it says no thanks. That means that it would give you some information to explain the reason why this product is being boycotted. Okay. So this is something I wanted to share, sharing it with you. So just in case you may have some reasons that you might not agree with a product, it's always good to know what product you're buying and what is these products, what are the owners supporting? What groups are the owners supporting? It's extremely important. It's called No Thanks. It's called No Thanks. And you can go to the app, your app store, Shakira.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah, you can go to your app store and receive it. I don't know whether you heard about Wendy Williams does not have frontotemporal dementia, contradicting a previous diagnosis that led to her guardianship.
Yeah, I did. We had spoke about that. From what I heard, is two different. So they did the first diagnosis at first that led her to the guardianship, but then this was an independent one, and it was two separate independent testing. And one test says she has this, the other test says she doesn't, but both tests are both including things that still may lead to some form of guardianship or something, because it's something with cognitive delays or something to that magnitude. So I don't know. I've heard two separate ones. One that she doesn't have it, and the other testing saying that she does have it. That is conflicting.
Right.
And I mean,
Right, but I
conflicting from
guess
the original
they're
first one.
going
These are two brand new tests that they did.
brand new tests. So I think she has a little bit more freedom than what she had previously, but they may be going back. I'm sure they're probably going to end up going back to court, and it may be going to court with jurors that may decide her fate.
Wow.
But I hope that she's able to give back her freedom to be able to live her life the way she sees fits. And I'm just so annoyed by the fact that they're able to take over and take control of her assets like that.
Yeah.
You know, and they were saying something about, I was reading the other day, they was talking about Nicki Minaj is next. I'm like, what the?
I mean, she is flying off the handle. She is doing a little bit more, but I don't think I don't know her. So I can't.
But flying off the handle and having
a mental, cognitive delay and cognitive issues. And I don't think that, but I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but some people can misdiagnose because somebody may have an opinion that may not agree with everyone. So now they're gonna claim
No.
crazy.
I'm not talking about opinions. I'm talking about her calling people ugly and the kids ugly. Yes,
oh, really?
Cardi B was going back and forth, and she called her daughter ugly. She said, "You're a monkey." Talking about her kids, addressing her kids by name.
But you know what? This is what I say. When people get into an argument or a disagreement, some people just go to the extreme. They don't know how to separate. They just go all in.
You know, everybody dig up whatever you say on the internet. She has publicly said kids are off limits. You don't never talk about nobody's kids.
I read that.
But she was calling Cardi B's daughter and her son monkeys and all this other type of stuff. So Cardi B, no gloves off. That's why your baby's favorite color, favorite shape is blue or something like that. Like something crazy. It was because Cardi B snapback is fun. You know, she's undisputed. But
that to me is wild. To have two powerful women that is in the rap game going at each other when we have so much more to be trying to get through. But of course, it's an attention. People like to pay attention to it. They love gravitating to it. It's just it's news, so people love to hear it. I wanted to share with you, and I don't know whether you are aware of this, but I'm preparing for the unknown. What happens when healthcare becomes unaffordable? Now, a powerful look at how families can protect themselves as insurance premium continues to rise. I know that is a concern for all of us, trying to figure out what is going to happen, and will our premiums double, triple, like what's been said in the news. But I wanted to share someone with you, and I'm sure I should have this information. Excuse me. I wanted to share this with you, this gentleman. Hold tight while I share.
Huge issue right now.
It certainly is. There is a local free clinic, though, that is helping the uninsured get the care that they need, and they just got a boost in growing that mission. I spent a little bit of time there myself to check it out.
Good morning.
Sherry Townsend considers herself lucky.
They're amazing. How's the cough? It's still persistent.
She found what she calls her saving grace, the Cherry Hill Free Clinic.
I knew I needed medical attention. I don't have insurance. Where else can we go without paying at least a couple $100 just for a doctor visit to get a prescription?
This visit won't cost her anything.
How's the schedule looking like?
That's because most of the people you see working here are volunteers, donating their time to help those in need.
They're nurses, they're doctors, they're individuals that have regular jobs. Some of them are ER physicians that work overnight and come in the morning to see our patients.
The clinic is the brainchild of founder and CEO Jabril Oyeyemi. He saw his first patient here 8 years ago after hearing the same story over and over again.
It would be a case of I lost coverage, the doctor's office visit, and so now I've run out of meds. I've rationed my meds to the point where I've run out, and now I'm sitting in front of you with a second heart attack, a second stroke, all because I didn't have access to $4 medications.
Now people come from all over the state for primary care and nearly 24 other specialties for free. That's why NBC Universal named the Cherry Hill Free Clinic a recipient of one of their local impact grants.
It lets us keep our doors open wider than it even is right now. And we just believe really firmly that everyone deserves access to health care.
Everyone, including Sherry Townsend.
I just recently moved in with my son because I can't even afford rent and I have a full-time job. Finding this place has been an absolute blessing.
A blessing and a beacon of hope to those with health issues.
It was a joy spending some time there. They do some great work. Sure. Believe it or not, there's only 5 free clinics in the state of New Jersey. That is one of them.
Wow, that's just 5. That's how few.
Just 5.
Yep.
Yep. So they come from all over to go there.
Yeah, tough when
Makes
life happens like that. That's great.
So now you know that there are some clinics that are available that will provide free health care. We put together a list that covers the United States. Shakira, I actually emailed it to you. I just don't know how to take it and put it where I shared it with you with your email so we could share it with everyone. It is a list that covers the United States, and it gives you the addresses and the doctors, the clinics that is providing free health care in every state. So regardless whether you're in Pennsylvania, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Connecticut, no matter where you are, this list should have a clinic. And this is for those who don't have any insurance. I know some people think, wow, what am I going to do? I don't have any insurance. I can't even go to the doctors. Yes, you can. There are people out there that are providing health care for people who are uninsured. Now, I do want to say that this particular clinic is Dr. Oyami, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He's located at 5 Estabrook Lane in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And I'm going to post his information at the bottom for those who are in the New Jersey area.
And I did put the list in the chat, the link for the list. So if you click on the list, is a Google Doc. So you should be able to have access to it.
Good. Yes. So that should cover all the states. So if you know someone who don't have any health insurance for their kids or for themselves, share the list put it on your page and just blast it, share it with your people so that people could be aware that there are places that they can go to get health insurance. This is extremely important. We want to make sure that there's no one out there that needs insurance or need health care, I should say, and feel as though they can't get it. So yes, you can. So hopefully that is helpful. The other thing, I want to change gears. I know we have so much to cover, and I know we probably are not going to have time to cover everything. But I want to also talk about, I know that the Epstein file, and I know I shared something with you earlier. I did mention this particular video. I'm not going to show this video, even though I really, really, really want to show this video. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put the video in the chat. And please if you have a moment, please, if you have a moment, take a look at the video. Excuse me. It's very disturbing, to say the least. It's very disturbing, but I think it needs to be seen. It's things that probably all of us probably already know, but hearing it, it definitely solidifies and confirms what we already know. Let me just put it that way. You have any comments on that, Shakira?
No, on the video, no.
Yeah.
Just pray for the nation. Just continue to pray for the nation, for everybody in the nation, including the president. Pray for the whole entire country, the world. Okay, because
the world,
yeah,
because it's definitely needed. It's definitely needed. What I'm going to also do, I'm going to post some grants. I know I have an overwhelming amount of grants that I want to share with our viewers, but I'm going to put at least about maybe 10 grants covering from individuals, businesses, and nonprofit organizations, especially my churches, right? I'm going to post these grants in the chat so that you could be able to grab them and hopefully be able to apply. And when you apply to these grants, apply as soon as possible. Follow the prompt. Excuse me. Follow the prompts to the grants. And I always suggest applying for at least 5 grants a month. I know it might sound like a lot, but if you have a summary of your foundation, of your personal resume, or your business, what you stand for in your business, if you have the basics done, the only thing you have to do is fill in the missing questions that may be answered, that may be asked of you. But getting started and doing it is the biggest thing. A lot of people procrastinate and won't get started. Open the app up and get started, because you never know. You may win. $100,000 can change your life. From a standpoint of an individual or business or even a nonprofit organization, it could change your life. The other thing I want to mention is if anyone is looking for toys, I know it's around Christmas. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. I wanted to share with you regarding toys. Now, I know that the United States Postal Service have what's called Operation Santa. Y'all may have heard of this before. You may even participated at one time when you were younger. Yes, it's still existing. Excuse me. Operation Santa still exists. And you can actually go to the website. And is Shakira, if you could type this in, is USPS operationsanta.com. So it's USPS operationsanta.com. So the way it basically works, this is the website for it. And this is through the United States Postal Service. And you actually can have your children, you could do it as a family project and write to Santa. You can write to Santa. And if you are going to adopt a letter means that you're going to actually take and gift a child or family. If you want to write to Santa and request a gift, then you would click Write to Santa. It's very simple, very easy to do. And once you go to the website, you go down, of course, and let me give you some of the dates. You have until December the 6th. To write to Santa. On December the 13th is the last day to shop for gifts. And they will be shipping out the gifts to the kids before Christmas, or by Christmas, before Christmas. Okay. I think it's a fun way to do it as a family, to write to Santa and make someone's dream come true. If you are in a position where you can adopt a letter, if you're in a position to adopt a letter, you click here and follow the prompts. Okay, and you could pick out the different things that a child may want. Okay, it's really fun. Like someone wants a t-shirt. Here's a young child wants a t-shirt. They wearing size, it looks like 15, 16, pants 16, 17. The child is 13 years old. And then once you do this, you normally drop the items off at the post office, I believe, unless it's changed. But these are the letters. If you want to adopt one of these letters, you just click adopt on your own, and then it will actually, you have to sign in with your username and your password, and then follow the prompts. Okay, so be a blessing to someone, and if you need a blessing, write to Santa. Even though as kids, my daughter, I was like, ain't no Santa Claus, I'm Santa.
Ain't no Santa over here. Sorry. Ain't no Santa over here.
Yeah, my mother was one of the things about my mom, she always was one of those type of people who said, I cannot be telling you don't lie to me if I'm a start off lying to you. So she was always like, no, there's no fairy godmother. Your tooth, I'm gonna give you $1, but there's everything that you could think of. And I used to be crying, because all the kids was getting gifts, but the reality was my mother was not for it. And I'm not saying anything for those parents that like to do that, but my mother was definitely one who stood for, we're not gonna do that in this house. Christmas, my mother was one who believed that praying for Christmas, not going broke, don't go to the mall spending all your money where you overextended yourself in credit cards. Nope, that was not the thing. Wasn't happening. Okay, so before we go, I have to cover one more thing, and that's for Thanksgiving. Those of you already know, for Thanksgiving, Aldi's is having a $40. You spend $40 and you're able to feed up to 10 people. Including your turkey, your chicken broth, mushrooms, and beans and greens and pies and crust and onions and just everything that you can think of underneath the sun. And this is going to last until December. I believe it's going to last until December 26th, I believe it's continuing to the 26th. Thank Carol Sutton. Thank you so much, Carol Sutton, for sharing this with us. Thank you so much, Carol Sutton, for sharing this with us. We really appreciate this. For those of you who are looking for some food for Thanksgiving. Anything you would like to say before we go, Plum?
No, just
talk about taxes, and we have to have a segment just talking about taxes, because I think that will probably be much beneficial. Don't bring up any other topic but that.
Okay. Yeah, no, just everybody be blessed. Pray for someone. Pray for yourself. Pray for someone. And that's pretty much it. Be kind to people. You don't know what they're going through.
Amen to that.
Yes.
That is for sure.
Yes.
Be kind to others. Hey, niece, thanks so much for joining. Kissing this hug to you, baby girl. Thank you so much for joining. I hope this episode has been beneficial to someone. Please share. Sharing is caring. We love you so much, and we thank you all for joining in. Please be with us next week on the 30th of November, which is after Thanksgiving. We'll be on at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you next week. In the
Yes.
meantime, please enjoy your week. Do something different today that you didn't do yesterday to change your tomorrow. Yes. Mama said it. Woo. There'll be days like this. Mama said it. Woo. There'll be days like this. Mama said it. Wee. There'll be days like this. Mama said it. Thank y'all so much for tuning in with us. And y'all have a blessed week. Thank you. See you next time. Oh, wait, before we go. One more thing. Shakira.
Sorry, because yeah, so there's 3, well, this book, a 60-day soap Bible journal I've written. It is it's for daily scripture, observation, application, and prayer. You can pick that up on Amazon. You can actually click the QR code here, use the QR code to be able to purchase. And it's full of you being able to experience the Bible for yourself. I don't want to give you these scriptures. I want you to look it up. I want you to pull out what it means to you, and I want you to apply it to your daily life. That is a 60-day journal for you guys.
Yes.
The next one is this is for the top of the year. You can get this to start off your new year, to be able to hold yourself accountable to reading your Bible daily. So it's going to actually give you a scripture at the bottom, but it's important for you to journal. Journaling for me is monumental because I'm able to reflect on what God has already done for me. So I'm not I don't know what I don't know, but I do know what I do know. And I know He is real, and I know He is on the throne, and He's available for everybody. So this is to hold you accountable, to be able to have a conversation with God. And it's 365 days worth of work. So get ready. Hold yourself accountable.
Yes.
Yes. And last but not least is our Rooted in Faith, God's Promises. This is a devotional guide. So I went over all these type of emotions that we may go through. If you're trying to heal, if you have anxiety, doubt, any type of emotion that's bubbling up and you need help walking through that, this is going to be the guide for you. It's going to give you information, and it's also going to have you journal. If you haven't noticed, journaling is my favorite. But you're going to be uplifted by the things that are in this book. It's going to have scripture in there. It's also going to have uplifting messages for you. And that's it.
Yes. My daughter is an author, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much for joining us for another episode of Mama Said It. And y'all have a great week.